Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's nice to be back with you. I hope that you're doing well. Continue our series of Dhyana meditation. Hope you've been continuing your practice. I have as well. Um, I was not feeling well. I was getting over quite a illness, so it's nice to be back, feeling better. Some residual aspects of that, but my practice really sustained me during my illness, and it's nice to be recovered. So thank you to everyone for your support. Um, with the meditation, Dhyana meditation, the idea is to restore our balance. So sometimes it's not so easy as you're sick, but it's important that you continue, as I said, consistency. So today, let's begin. Let's do some stretches. Gently wake up the body after sleep. Let's move our head again with the weight of our body, allowing it to naturally move. Now we're going to make circles. We're going to go to the angle. The right side. And then we're going to make circles. I just want to make sure that you're able to hear me. Apologize. So everyone is still able to hear me. That's just making sure we don't have any issues with broadcasting. Now as we sit up, bring our shoulders up and drop. Yeah. Drop. Forward. Any stiffness in the neck. Okay, let us prepare for meditation. Let us do 3 pranayama breaths, breathing in through the nose for 3, holding for 5, and exhaling for 7. Let us begin. Round 2, breathe in. Exhale. Round 3, last round. Then we close our mouth gently, keeping our teeth gently closed, tongue at the roof of the mouth, hands in Hokai join, ears over the shoulders, tucking our chin in, extending upwards, closing our eyes gently, just enough to keep the light out. Now we are going to use the mantra Nam-myoho-renge Kyo as we exhale. Set about the width of about 12 fingers, so about here. We exhale, touching as if we could move a leaf. We do that with Nam-myoho-renge Kyo. Then we inhale back in, simply observing the mind with mindfulness without judgment. The sound of the bell. Let's begin. Release your concentration. Come back to the awareness of your body. Let us do a scan of our body, state of our mind, our breath, our body. We come back. Let's start to move our fingers, our toes, our body. Coming back to the awareness. Let us rub our hands together. We go for open eyes. Thank you very much. With a few moments that we have left, karma, as one of my teachers says, is not something that is a theory. for a practitioner, um, as is with science, we simply are able to infer realities. That is why when we practice meditation, we become more aware. And as we see and infer certain truths from uh, our lives, that sometimes can be measured with science, sometimes cannot. We understand this idea of cause and effect, this idea of bringing into existence and removing of the existence but remaining, idea of interdependence. And in that, it's very fascinating because our practice itself, I believe, is very much um, determined by karma, especially what type of practice that we are involved in. It's always said in the Lotus Sutra that people who are practitioners of the Lotus Sutra had come into contact with the teachings previously. That's why, as a bodhisattva, one of the um, practices is to bring people into contact with the teachings, to be able to allow them to have that positive karma, even though it may not ripen by the correct causes and conditions in this lifetime. If we think of the many lifetimes that we had, a lot of times we don't see how it all interconnects. And I believe very much so that this is influenced by our karma. Okay? That residue, that residual that carries on from like one existence to the next. And you see that because of the different practices that people um, assume, such as many people now karmically are not interested in many of the worship or how do you say faith-based traditions. They want practical practice such as sitting meditation, or as we see in Buddhism, where it's not necessary to have um, this belief in the superior being or Godhead. But then in actuality, we are able to meet with the Buddha. And when we meet with the Buddha, we are able to see our own nature. So therefore, sometimes for, as we would say, kriya, or this kind of faith-based or um, devotional practice, I would say, for some people is very karmically difficult. But if one finds oneself, and this is something we can develop, and it's taught in the many great teachings, that if one finds sitting meditation difficult, then one of the kind of expedients or one of the other kind of aspects that is taught is this faith devotional practice they call Kriya Yoga, whether that's the belief in Krishna or Vishnu or all the different traditions, that they have this connection with this, let's say, divine, as they would call it. Because as you know, in the East, it's quite different than the monotheism of the West. And there is some aspect of that within Nichiren Buddhism, because in order to have the correct mindset to practice, we have to have this aspiration, which in Buddhism we call bodhicitta, the aspiring mind, the aspiring nature towards enlightenment. How is this awakened? I believe a lot of people sit Dhyana meditation who are perhaps in their mind more secular, that don't particularly like religion. However, there are aspects that, as we see in Nichiren Shonin's teaching, which to me, and obviously due to my karma, was very challenging. Um, Even though I liked spirituality, this idea of having faith um, was something that I was not very open to. But then in actuality, sitting meditation, the basis, as we see in the Yama and Niyama, the ideas of morality and discipline, we have to have this generative nature of faith, of kind of awe, such as we see in the Buddha Shakyamuni. Hence, we become Buddhist. Otherwise, we might be just a secular meditator. Right? But we are here because we have this connection with the Buddha. And I believe one aspect of modern practice that is missing is the devotional aspect. Um, that we simply come to the temple as a space and practice there. I don't think people have cultivated deeply enough this idea that the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, deities, ancestors, etc., exist within this place. And that actually, hence we call it a dojo, a place of practice and study. It's very essential that we have this mindset that we try to connect with the divine. And one thing that Nichiren Shonin gave us, as we can see in Kanjin Honzon Sho, and is imperative if you simply practice Dhyana meditation, is the object of veneration, the object of focus. This is usually in most traditions in the form of a mantra, which we have as Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. But also we have the great Gohonzon that we can connect with. We can connect with the Buddha. We can connect with Tahoe Buddha. We can connect with the ceremony in the air. And I believe this is another spiritual practice that is very essential, but I think has been lost, or not in many ways taught or cultivated in depth. A lot of people just focus on doing the daimoku, which of course is a very great practice to getting to a point, especially with dhyana. But I think this devotional aspect is also very important. And it says in the many sutras and teachings that if one finds dhyana meditation difficult, that one should then focus on the devotional aspect. And devotional is done in many different ways, such um, as we do the invocation. When we think about the Buddha, we imagine, we visualize. Visualization, again, is another aspect that is missing. Connect with the Gohonzon. When we enter into our dojo, when we see our Butsudan, that we connect with the Buddha, with our mind, with our body, with our spirit, that we actually feel the presence of that nature there. Hence, the Gohonzon is the object of veneration. So, this is something to keep in mind. And again, as you're practicing, don't just simply skirt by when we come into the dojo to bow and greet the Buddha, to feel the Buddha's presence, Nichiren Shonin's presence. And then also when we do the invocation or prayer, I think people just do it in a kind of robotic way. That they believe that just the practice is the practice of chanting the daimoku, but actually these are all aspects of the same practice in which we fulfill all of the points, all the limbs to be able to attain samadhi. And these are important aspects that help to balance us for the correct samadhi of Buddhism. So thank you very much today. Hope all of you have a very wonderful and auspicious day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.